All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Crew Show with a little San Francisco Giant video. Giants are playing well. They absolutely are playing well. And one of the guys who absolutely deserves a little credit is a guy that I honestly did not believe in going into this year at all, and that's Lamonte Wade Jr. Giants just swept LA. They're playing really terrific baseball. They've won 7 in a row coming into the series against the Padres, and Lamonte Wade Jr. has been really the key guy as far as their lineup and turning things around. So let's talk a little bit about Lamonte Wade Jr. He bust onto the scene in 2019 with the Minnesota Twins, and he hit 196. But he did have a good on base percentage, 348, but 196 is terrible. That was in 2019. 2020, he's also with the Twins, and he hits 231 in 16 games, 39 at bats, no home runs, one stolen base, 231, 318 on base. Not good numbers. Not good numbers at all. Now, the Giants bring him in 2021, and in that 2021 season, he looked good. Hit 253, he had a 326 on base, hit 18 home runs, drove in 56 runs, and played 110 games, 336 at-bats, and really looked pretty good. But then after 2022, I'm thinking, you know what? That was just a total aberration. Why? Because 2022, Lamonte Wade Jr. was horrible. And we're not talking about a kid. We're talking about a 28-year-old player. That should have been the prime year of his career in 2028, too. But look what he did. He hit 207. Yeah, this is last year. 207 with a 305 on base percentage, which is awful. And only 8 home runs in 77 games, 217 at bats, drove in 26 runs, walked 26 times, had 1 stolen base. So when the Giants said they were bringing him back as their starting first baseman, that they were going to kiss off Brandon Belt and hand first base to Lamonte Wade, I'm like, what? Why would they do that? And I openly asked, why the fascination with Lamonte Wade? Didn't show a ton of power, didn't show a ton of speed, wasn't a particularly good fielder, hit 207 with a 305 on base. Well, here we are in the middle of June, and Lamonte Wade may be an NL All-Star. He's got 9 home runs in 67 games played, 215 at-bats, 27 RBIs, which is really low, by the way. That's super low. But he's got 9 home runs, and he's only got 2 stolen bases. He's not really a base stealer, but he's played pretty good defensively at first base, and he's hitting 279. But the big stat is the on base. He's got a 416 on base percentage. I mean, we're talking about a Barry Bonds-esque on base percentage for Lamonte Wade. So really an incredible year if you think about it. I mean, to go from 207, he's upped his batting average by 70 plus points. I mean, 72-point increase in batting average, over 110-point increase in on base percentage. So it really is quite amazing when you look at the year that he's had. Now, as far as what's he projected for over the season, it's not crazy. It's not like, oh, wow, this is amazing. He's hitting 279. He's got a great on base, as I said. If he plays the full year, he's projected to play 153 games, which would give him 491 at bats and 25 doubles, which that's a pretty decent number. 21 home runs, which would be the first time in his career that he's ever hit 20. That would be a good number. Only 62 RBIs for the year, and that's in his career year so far, which is still real low, a real low number for a first baseman. I mean, if you said, hey, I've got a first baseman who's going to hit 279 with 21 home runs and 62 RBIs, hardly anybody would be like, wow, are you kidding me? 21 home runs, 62 RBIs. Those aren't overwhelming numbers, especially for a first baseman. But the on-base percentage is legit, and the defense has been legit. And if you look at his numbers and you look at some of the splits, he's done really, really well this year. He's hitting 275 against left-handed pitching, 280 against right-handed pitching. He's really better against righties. He's got a 423 on base against right-handed pitching. I mean, that's great. That is a great number. I'll take 423 on base every day, all day and every day. He's been better on the road than he is at home. That's not necessarily a surprise. 261 on the road, 293, or 261 at home, 293 on the road. But he actually has a 404 on base percentage at home. So this guy's getting on base. Interestingly enough, if you look at his season, and I'd love to ask him about it, his day and night splits are dramatic. In the daytime, Lamonte Wade hits 221 with a 359 on base. Still a good on base percentage, but 221. At night, he hits 333 with a 468 on base percentage. So that late night Lamont, man, that nickname really holds true. I mean, that's amazing right there. There's over 100-point difference between Lamonte Wade in the daytime and Lamonte Wade at night. I'm sure he must see the ball a whole lot better in the evening than he does in the daytime. But 254 in April wasn't great, but man, he got hot in May. 292 in the month of May. He's followed that up with a 306 average in the month of June. In the last week, he's hitting 333. So he's doing well. He's really doing well. And it's something that really, I mean, he's played first, he's played left, he's played center, he's played right, he's been a pinch hitter, and he has hit much better when he plays first base. Now, the majority of the time, he's playing first. 173 at bats at first, he's hitting 301. When he's played in left, he hits 174. When he's played in right, he hits 214. When he comes off the bench as a pinch hitter, he hits 250. But if you stick him at first base, he's hitting 301 with a 425 on base. So he's doing great on the first pitch of the at-bat as well. And we'll see if pitchers adjust him in the second half of the year. In an 0-0 count, you know what Lamonte Wade hits? 476. That is a huge number. 476 on the first pitch. So he's attacking the first pitch quite frequently, and he's doing damage. 476. And when and since the guy knows how to work the count, when he gets ahead in the count, he's good. 2-1 counts, he's hitting 455. 3-1 counts, he's hitting 750. So, you know what? He's really doing great. Had a chance to talk to him in spring training. Really nice guy. And I'm happy for him. And I was wrong. I'll admit, I was wrong. I saw a 207 hitter who was 28 years old, and I thought, you know what? They're crazy to give this guy the start at first base. You're going to get rid of Brandon Belt and hand over first base to Lamonte Wade Jr., who's 28 going on 29 in a year where, coming off a 207 year with a really, really low on base percentage. And he has been fantastic. And he's been really, really good in the clutch. So when there's no runners on base, Lamonte Wade hits 270. When there's runners on, that number jumps 27 points to 297. So that's a really good number. And the ultimate pressure situation is runners in scoring position with 2 out. And you know what Lamonte Wade has done this year in that situation? Runners in scoring position with 2 out. Lamonte Wade's hitting 364 with a 462 on base percentage. So good for Lamont. I hope he makes the All-Star team, man. That would be an incredible story. But what a turnaround from last year to this year. The Giants last year struggled. This year, they look like they might be a playoff team. And the number one reason, you could point to a bunch of things, but you got to point out Lamonte Wade. 207 last year with a very low on base. This year, his on base is over 110 points higher, and he's hitting 279 with power. So way to go, late night Lamont. Keep it rolling, and hopefully he can lead the Giants into October. And I'll never doubt you again. I promise. All right. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krueger Show. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. And thanks to all of you for supporting the Krueger Show on YouTube.